Welcome to Epilogue Podcast, the show where we discuss some stuff that happened on a different show ages ago which nobody really cares about anymore.
Hi, I'm Portponky.
And I'm LeBloc.
Today we're discussing Deep Space Nine, Season 3, Episode 5, Second Skin. Kira is surgically altered and adopted by a new Cardassian dad in an attempt to discredit him by the Obsidian Order. So, this was a sci-fi, right?
Yeah.
I was just checking because I like this episode on rewatch. I thought it was going to be a big clunker because I could vaguely remember the sort of plot. But on watching it, it had enough stuff in it to keep me entertained. But I just don't buy it. I think the plot is too out there.
Yeah, it is. They never got me to question for a moment that maybe she's a Cardassian. I just immediately thought this is a trick and there's something to this.
Yeah, it got weird when she almost started entertaining the idea because it's not even remotely convincing.
You mean you weren't convinced when Kira said it was convincing?
Well, I mean, they did a good job with the set design and all the surgery and the happy dad guy, but she's had medical exams and stuff as part of being someone who runs a space station. You know, they would have noticed if she was Cardassian.
I would hope Bashir would pick up on that.
Yeah, so it was just, I don't know, I find it too ridiculous I find the ridiculousness of it gets in the way of the episode.
Yeah, that's what I found. It's a cool visual to see Kira made up as a Cardassian, but I couldn't invest in the premise.
Weirdly, I think I might have liked it better if they didn't change her into a Cardassian. I mean, I get that was the gimmick they were going for, but it seemed like it would have worked just as well if she wasn't surgically replaced with a Cardassian Kira.
I think I would have liked the episode better because although I just said it was a cool visual, it was also distracting because it reminded me that these are just people with makeup on. And I don't want to think about that when I'm trying to be immersed in a show.
Yeah. Cosmetic surgery is unbelievable in the 24th century. Which makes sense. Their medical stuff is crazy good. But still, if it was that easy, I don't know.
Identity theft would be rampant.
Yeah, although you said previously it's really easy to kidnap someone with a transporter. And that did in fact come up in this episode.
Yeah, it did, which is funny. Oh, one of our commanding officers. Well, she's gone.
Check all the transporters, see if they left a computer file saying, "We did it."
Speaking of computer files, why was that Bajoran woman so incredulous that what Kira was saying did not match the records, as if records have never been tampered with?
Well, the Cardassians were very astute record keepers, so yeah, you'd think she would just say, "Oh, this must be wrong. Never mind."
Yeah. And
sorry to bother you.
In the previous episode, it was all about manipulated records, so that was weird.
Yeah, then she phones up her cellmate. But why? Because she knows she wasn't there.
Maybe she got a taste of the Trill medicine to suppress memories.
Why did she go down to the planet anyway? What would that do? She was going to look at a computer file.
It would create an opportunity for her to be kidnapped?
I guess. It's an interesting idea, actually. I like the first few minutes where she's confused about her past being inconsistent with reality. That has a very kind of Philip K. Dick angle to it. And that's good. It just then took a turn for the extremely silly.
So when they capture her, the guy claims that they extracted the memories of what they are calling the real Kira. So then why don't they just extract the memories that they need from our Kira? This is getting confusing.
I think I get what you're on about. If there is anything they needed, they could get it. But when he says they extracted the memories from the real Kira, I don't think he means with a machine. I think he means with the old Cardassian belligerence and torture, which seems a bit pointless if they then made up a bunch of stuff anyway.
Yeah, it's an onerous process just to create some memories.
Why didn't she... Sorry, I'm jumping back a bit, but when she found out she had been in prison, according to some guy from the prison, why didn't she contact any of the people that she was hiding out with in the encampment and say, hey, did I go missing for a few weeks? Why corroborate the story according to the record rather than according to her own memory?
Well, she's acting as if her memory is faulty, so it can't be trusted.
Yeah, but why would she not? We're thinking about it now. It seems like she corroborated it the unintuitive way. If someone accused you of doing something you have no memory of, you would try and verify that your memories are correct first, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I wouldn't ring up a stranger and ask, hey, is this correct? That doesn't make any sense. How do you even know he's a reliable witness?
Yeah, she's basically asking him, is it correct that everything I know is a lie?
Yeah.
Rather than phoning up someone she knows and saying, can you just confirm that reality is consistent? So, I think this episode would have been a complete stinker if it wasn't for our good friend Garrick showing up.
And again, casually murdering someone.
Yeah, with a flick shot 360 no scope. It seemed like he was having a lot of fun and letting his slight psychopath tendencies flow a little.
Yeah, despite not wanting to join them. Once he did, he looked like he was having fun.
Yeah, well, it's like the kind of trips where it's like, oh, we're all going to go see this museum or something, and you think, oh, God, this is going to be really boring. And you get there and you're like, oh, whoa, I didn't realize I'd have so much fun.
Murdering someone.
It was only a little bit of murder. He did also scare the living daylights out of that guy over the video link.
That was a fun little bit.
I loved his little throwaway line at the end.
Mr. Garrick, I'm impressed.
It was just something I overheard while I was hemming someone's trousers.
Definitely a lie, but it's great that he tosses that out there.
I know, it's so ridiculous. I'd also liked it because in The Search Part 2, we discussed how he hates hemming women's dresses. So this confirms that hemming trousers is okay.
Because you get super secret codes when you do it.
Absolutely.
When Garrick is resisting joining the expedition, he says, Commander, this is extortion. And Sisko confirms that it is.
Yeah.
And that just adds to my theory that Sisko's a psychopath. And so I like that little bit.
Yeah, the power has gone to Sisko's head, absolutely. But he's fine. He's not power hungry. He's happy with what he's got. He's just playing the game.
He has a script for what happens on Deep Space Nine, and he wants everyone to follow it.
They better follow it.
Otherwise, Odo will be thrown behind them, disguised as a bag.
Yeah, that was strange that they just threw a bag across the room.
It's not something people generally do when they enter a room.
Considering they murdered those guys anyway, it was completely pointless. They could have just run in and shot them, although Garrick didn't want to shoot them.
And Cisco has to pretend he's not full of murderous rage. He needs to act under Federation guidelines.
He was probably satiated by committing what is some sort of international crime. International? Interstellar. Entering Cardassian space and allowing his crewmates to murder people. Like I said, he's not just a rampage guy. He just wants a little bit now and again.
Yeah, he needs his fix.
And I think he got it.
Did you have any criticisms?
Pretty much that whenever it seemed like Kira was starting to be slightly convinced by this ruse, it was stupid because it's not convincing. She even points out how it's not convincing, so I don't know. Oh, I had one thing. The guy gets the body from the Obsidian Order archives, and the code for it is S1983I. That kind of makes me think that there's not a lot of stuff in the archives. They said they keep everything, but if they're only up to a 6-digit code, that can't be that many things.
Yeah.
For example, that wouldn't cover books. Every book has an ISBN, and there's far more digits and digit space used up. And presumably the Obsidian Order would have every book and everything.
Well, see, every book is cataloged in the book catalog, and that has one number.
Oh, okay.
Nested number system.
Oh, so it's Huffmanized.
Sure.
Okay, then it has some fairly... No, I don't buy it. They should have given it a longer number. It should have been rattling digits off for about 30 seconds.
That's compelling television.
And then he just gets something completely random. Like, oh no, hang on. Send that back. He gets a piece of paper out of his pocket. No, it's
Oh, it's 19827641.
yes.
I always want to see them make mistakes like that, where they ask the computer to do something and then they issued the wrong command, but everything's always smooth.
Yeah, when they say, computer, play something by such and such, and then it would come up with, oh, like the secret track on a CD that's got 10 minutes of silence, or like a thank you track where they're just talking about stuff.
Audible liner notes.
I mean, the random feature on iPods and things like that, people complain about that all the time. And that's been through so many iterations. It used to be random, then they changed it because it was too random, so it would have variability. And people still complain about it.
And if the computer could read their minds to get the perfect result, then they wouldn't have to say anything in the first place.
Yeah, they would just say, computer, music, anything. And the computer would jump into action and put on whatever it is that they want to listen to. Which is always some kind of... It's always harp music. I have one other mild criticism.
Go for it.
They tried to convince Kira that she's really Ileana Gamor by telling her about the time she shot a space cat.
Yeah.
But how did they actually know about that?
Wild guess.
That would have been so much better.
Oh, I didn't expect that to work.
I'd be given like 3 or 4. when you were young, you stole a loaf of bread. She's like, no, I never did.
Oh.
When you were a teenager, secretly you, I don't know, this and that, and then they hit upon the shooting a space cat, and she's like, oh, there, I told you, you must be a Cardassian.
Very convenient of them not to reveal how they got that information.
Yeah, for all their record keeping and attention to detail, that seems way out there for what anyone would ever care about. Did they have like a murder investigation when they found a recently phasered space cat?
Another thing that weakens it is, how did that guy not know that's not his daughter?
She looked and sounded kind of the same.
But don't Cardassians have amazing memories?
Yeah, eidetic memories. I mean, supposedly she looked and sounded really, really similar.
Yeah, there's that, and then he obviously really wants to reunite with his daughter, and he was likely willing to overlook any sort of signals that it wasn't actually her, because he desperately did want it to be her. Fine, I could buy it.
Yeah, I guess. He hasn't seen her in 10 years, so... But if they really have photographic memory, it would be like yesterday.
It's just that you know your family so well. Even just the pattern of the steps you could pick up on. So seeing someone and being that close to someone, you would know it's not really them.
Yeah, you would probably suspect it. Like the siblings of identical twins never have a problem telling them apart.
And just because she matched physical attributes doesn't mean she would give off the same vibes or have the same gestures. It's just there are so many areas where it would fall apart.
Yes, it's almost like the entire gimmick of this episode was ridiculously hard to believe.
Yeah. And that's why I really didn't like that he really was missing his daughter. I was hoping it was all an act and this guy was just trying to manipulate Kira.
Yeah, although I like the fact that it was to go after him. That was a nice way of bringing it back to something that resembled a sensible plotline.
Yeah, I like that twist. It's just, it doesn't make any sense that he's really the father of Ileana.
Yeah, especially since they can clone people. Why capture a high-profile political enemy of the state? Oh God, why? What were they thinking? I don't know. This it's such a weird episode. It's not terrible. It's decent. Garrick has fun. The plot is twisty when it's not completely ridiculous.
I couldn't get over the plot. It was too big of an obstacle for me.
If it wasn't for that, it would have been a pretty neat episode. I like how at the end, Bashir presumably just re-surgeries Kira back to her original state.
Yep, good as new.
Apparently, major reconstructive surgery is like a 2-minute job. You'd think people would do it as a prank. Or they just do it all the time.
Yeah, it would totally be fashionable to do it all the time. But maybe it's expensive and she was able to do it because she's part of the Deep Space Nine crew, so it's covered by her health insurance.
Maybe this is how Handleface got his handle.
Yeah, we did talk about that. It could be all the rage on his planet to get impossibly stupid facial reconstruction.
Well, if you look how stupid fashion is, if you could do that to your body with no permanent risk, then people would just look incredibly stupid.
Yeah, that's true.
Do you have a quote of the show?
Treason, like beauty, is in the eye of the beholder. I can't resist picking quotes from Garrick when he shows up.
He had all the best lines in this one. How very perceptive of you, something I overheard when hemming someone's trousers. Shame, I rather liked him.
Commander, this is extortion.
So do you think Garrick was talking about himself there when he said treason is in the eye of the beholder?
No, he was talking about Edward Snowden, even though that hadn't happened when this was filmed. But it would have happened in the history of this universe. I just hurt myself in the head.
Yeah, no, that's very forward thinking of them.
They thought, you know what, someone's going to commit treason under the legal sense, and then it'll actually be for moral good.
It's interesting he says treason like beauty. I always find it funny how they tie Garrick back to his tailor persona.
What if it was more literal? Treason, like a pair of hem pants. It's in the beauty of a pair of hem pants.
Yeah, the pants themselves are not. The existence of the pants is an objective fact, but
or is it?
They're well.
What if they're holographic pants?
Treason like pants are in the eye of the beholder.
You could be in a holosuite, and those are not real pants.
So is holographic clothing like some sort of sexy fetish thing where you think this unit could fail at any moment? Never mind. Let's not talk about that. Garrick. He's so flamboyant and fantastic. He even sounds great when he's murdering people.
Yeah, he murders with style, which you would expect from an accomplished tailor.
I like how Garrick turned up to talk to Bashir and said, let's grab a snack in the middle of the night. And Bashir was so clueless and that he didn't pick up that something was amiss. He completely missed the social cues from Garrick.
He missed a lot of social cues in the first season. He has an analytical mind. I could see him missing out on that stuff.
Yeah, he's a bit of an awkward sort of guy. And Garrick kind of had to say, no, seriously, I have information about your kidnapped colleague. I want to give it to you.
He just comes out with it.
Well, he knows if he says, oh, no, we really should go for snacks. I want to have a chat. Bashir will be like, no, look, I'm really tired. You'll have to go with someone else. I have to sleep. Garrick says, I'm really hungry. I really need to go for a snack.
Garrick, I have to get up early. I have some reports to go over. I don't have the munchies right now.
Yeah, so Garrick just cuts to the chase.
Well, I think this podcast is all sewn up.
Yes, you could say it's the hemmed of this podcast episode.
You can say that, but you shouldn't.
Yeah, that was weak. I can't think of any other tailoring puns right now, so I guess this is the end.
Yeah.